Hi, everybody. This is Dean from the Teachers to Tech podcast and the Tech Migration website, and we're going to take a quick look at how you make a Google form. Now, I've already gone to my Google account. I've created a folder that I'd like to use. You can see it's called Forms Example for the obvious reason. Let's add a form by hitting our plus button. So we're going to add a new Google form, and that blank form will open up for us right away. Let's change the title first thing. We're just going to call it example form, being real vanilla here so I can keep my mind on how the form works. If I'd like a description, I can add that here. We'll just call this sample, just so we've put something in place. Now I've got a question already here as a placeholder. Right now it's untitled. When I click on the title and get ready to change it, you can see that by default it comes in as multiple choice. I'm going to click my menu here so you can see all the different question types that we could have, like short answer or paragraph, checkboxes, drop downs, etc. But I'm not going to choose anything different. I want you to see something. I'm going to ask for my respondent's email address. So I'm going to say enter email right here. And did you see that change? So my question automatically jumped to a short answer text. Now I'm going to pretend that this is the response form that you can use when you're listening to the podcast. And so I'm going to say, I really expect to get an email address from you if you're going to respond to me. So I'm going to leave this as a required question. If for some reason I just didn't need this question on my form anymore, I could hit this trash can symbol down here, that delete button, and it would be gone. If I had spent time setting up a question, maybe it had some kind of special scale I was working on, and I needed a repeat of that, I could copy it right here. I can add an image, by the way, to a question. You can see the button for that here. Now I've got one question done. I want to add one more, and this is just where you could fill in a comment if you were giving feedback to the show. So I'm going to come over to my add button here, hit plus, add a question, and you can see again we default to multiple choice, but watch what happens when I use the word comment here. So I'm going to say enter your comment, and watch this. It switched up also. Now I'm going to change that to paragraph, so I can have long answer text. If you got a lot to say, great. Here's where you can fill it in. Of course, that's required because it would be kind of silly to have a feedback form and not get any feedback. Now, when I get that, where does it go? Well, it will be visible under this responses tab. The responses tab will do a couple of things for me. It'll let me see the individual responses that were sent, or if I'm doing something like a survey where I've used numbers or other things that can be lumped together, aggregated, you can see those in a display that's all graphical so that you can get a kind of a summary. If I need this accessible as data, I can also use this link to sheets link that will let me set up a Google Sheet that all of the responses will be dumped into for things like analysis. Now, under settings, I could say, hey, I want to make this a quiz, which means I can say there are right and wrong answers. And for things like short answers, I might have to look at some of the responses myself, but for other things like multiple choice, um, the responses would be graded automatically. You can change how our form is presented. You can change what the default settings are. For instance, you can say, hey, I want to get an email when I get a response. I want the user, if they are taking a quiz or a test, to be told their score, or be told their score and all their answers, or be told their score and all their answers and the right answers. Those can be all set here. On top of this, let's go back to the questions themselves. We can see that we can change the look of the form here by choosing a theme or by changing fonts for questions or text, changing the header image, changing the color scheme. There are some more things that can be done there, but you get the idea. And then we have this eyeball. Let's get that out of there. And that is our preview button. This will allow us to preview our form and to actually use it. So if we click here, we can fill in some responses, then go back to our responses and view them and make sure that everything is working the way we expect. When I would like to send this, I can hit the send button and I'm allowed to email directly from here and send the respondents a link, or I can click a button at the bottom here that says, I want to include the form right in the email, which makes it even easier. I can just grab the link itself and put it where I'd like it. Let's shorten it just because we can. And I could put that link somewhere else where I'd like to have it in some other email, or maybe I need it on a website, something like that. And right here, I have code that I can use to embed. So if you're creating a website and you want a form on there, you can use this embed code so that the form that you have made in Google will appear out on the website that you have created. And let's close this up. And that is our quick introduction to how to build and use a Google form. Thanks for watching.